Greetings, Miss Annie. I am Lasterfate Swellan and I am here together with my groupmates, Mr. Jean Alasio and Tercia May Ibanez to report our presentation. So here's the complete instructions regarding with the said activity entitled collaborative work. Additionally, for us to not get lost regarding the content and structure of the presentation, here's the complete set of criteria to be observed. So delivery is 35%, content and organization also 35%, enthusiasm and audience awareness is 30% with a total of 100%. But before we cite the differences in speaking the English language between a Filipino and Singaporean, let's first watch these two videos between a Singaporean newscaster and a Filipino newscaster.
Health Organization or WHO declared that COVID-19 is no longer a public health emergency of international concern. This is after 3 years with more than 765 million confirmed cases and at least 7 million people dead globally. But the WHO warned that COVID-19 remains a health threat and that the public should not be complacent. The Department of Health welcomes the decision of the WHO as it acknowledges that the country's response to the pandemic was effective. DOH says it will convene members of the Interagency Task Force for Emerging Infectious Diseases to discuss the country's next steps against COVID-19. Those we talked to say they will continue observing public health and safety protocols to prevent infection.
Maghuhugas pa rin ng kamay at saka naglalagay pa rin kami ng alcohol, face mask, gaya namin, mga senior. Lagi may dalang face mask. Kasi mahirap na eh.
Face mask talaga, lalo na sa mga crowded, yung mga closed area, katulad ng mga malls, pipitan na rin talaga sa mask. Ibalik ulit.
Experts share the same sentiment, advising the public to follow established health protocols of wearing a face mask in crowded places and getting vaccinated, especially with the rising number of new cases and the nationwide positivity rate of 17.8% as of May 5, according to all the research.
Kailangan maingat tayo until magkaroon ng finality ng WHO kung anong gagawin. The PHCIC is a moment of celebration. But it's also a moment also for us to reflect on how we can move forward so that we can integrate the processes, so that we can prevent the next pandemic.
With fewer restrictions, cases may we may see upticks in cases. But the position of the Department of Health is that as long as the healthcare system is not threatened, then there's no danger.
Dr. Tony Liachon and Professor Guido David say it's better to stay safe and avoid getting infected and infecting others because it is expensive to be hospitalized. Catherine Cruz, CNN Philippines.
COVID-19 cases are on the rise again in Singapore, but doctors say this is part and parcel of living with the virus. Recent weekly figures from the Health Ministry show the highest surge so far this year. Cases have been going up since the beginning of March. By the last week of the month, there were over 28,000 cases recorded, and that's almost double the previous week's figure. Clinics are seeing the spike in patient loads, but doctors say this is expected now that people are going out again. Sherlyn Sia has the report.
Patients streaming in over the long weekend. Clinic chain UniHealth now sees about 15 to 20 COVID-19 cases each day, up by nearly twofold over the past month. But this is not unexpected.
As we shift and treat COVID-19 as an endemic disease, we do anticipate or we do expect waves of infection. Periodically, especially with the resumption of travel, and also in most countries, including Singapore, we have already lifted most, if not all, of the preventive measures such as mask wearing.
To cater to the uptick, the chain is ordering more medication, including COVID-19 targeted treatments. With more people out and about, clinics expect cases to continue rising before stabilizing. Phoenix Medical has reported twice as many patients in the past 2 weeks, but most of the cases were mild and manageable.
by and large, I would say that they present with the routine respiratory symptoms. Nothing out of the ordinary. I think eventually we will hit a steady state, and we might get some spikes from time to time. If it follows other respiratory viruses like influenza, then we might see spikes during the winter seasons.
With Singapore now treating COVID-19 as endemic, doctors are also moving away from focusing on top-line figures.
We aren't really differentiating respiratory tract illnesses caused by COVID-19 versus other viruses, except for a small minority identified as high risk or vulnerable and who will benefit from oral antivirus. And for patients who report positive results from self-testing, we no longer re-swab them for verification and certification purpose unless they need it to be done for administrative reasons.
Nevertheless, a call for all to still remain vigilant. And as Singapore lives with the virus, doctors are reminding people to get their COVID-19 booster shots when due and to continue good personal habits such as masking up in crowded areas and of course seeking prompt medical attention if unwell.
That ends the sample videos between a Singaporean newscaster and a Filipino newscaster. And now, let us hear from Ms. Tricia and Ms. Regine regarding with the cited differences and the use of English language between Singaporeans and Filipinos.
According to the source I viewed and lesson 2, there are a few significant differences between the spoken English and utilization of the language used by Singaporean and Filipino newscasters. First is their accent and pronunciation. Singaporean English is influenced by a variety of languages including Malay, Mandarin Chinese, and Tamil. As a result, Singaporean newscasters may have a distinct accent and pronunciation. For example, Singaporeans may pronounce can as can and Singapore as Singapore. On the other hand, Filipino newscasters generally have a more neutral accent and pronunciation, aiming for a standard American or British English accent. For example, in Filipino, vowel sounds like A is pronounced as pa, and E is pronounced as in bed or set.
Second, vocabulary and grammar. Singaporean English may incorporate local expressions, idioms, and vocabulary that are unique to the country that may appear to Singaporean newscasters' speech. Filipino newscasters, on the other hand, tend to follow standard English vocabulary and grammar rules more closely with minimal use of local terms or phrases. Example for vocabulary in Singaporean people is that they use la every after the sentence. Third, speed and intonation. Singaporean newscasters often speak at a faster pace compared to their Filipino counterparts. Filipino newscasters, on the other hand, generally adopt a slower and more deliberate pace, ensuring clarity and comprehension for a broader audience. So, as you observe that Singaporean people talk English faster than Filipino, that's why sometimes we cannot understand what they are talking about.
And that ends our presentation. Thank you.